You've seen the gear, you see it in the background every video. I know I've talked about it from time to time, but I want to tell you guys a little bit more about how D&B got started, what it is, and how we got to this point today. Before we dive into the D&B story, I just got this piece of art yesterday. I did that one day. I was doing some art in Photoshop and I just got it printed, so I'm pretty excited about that. It's Jackie Robinson, and I really like this style of art, so that was a really exciting, fun piece for me to get to hang up last night and now enjoy it in the room and on these videos. So, but back to D&B and what it's all about. So D&B actually didn't start as D&B, what is known now today as Define New Boundaries. It actually started as a golf trick shot team, so to speak, with my best friend Dalton, who I do D&B with now today, and our other friend Lucas. We all grew up in the same neighborhood, and it was funny because we became close in high school, but we all knew of each other to some extent long before that. We had mutual friends, and we would always go to the baseball field near our houses every Sunday and played pickup baseball with just the neighborhood kids. So it was funny when we got to high school and kind of put all the pieces together that we actually knew each other before this point. But anyway, fast forward, we played baseball in high school, and it was the summer going into my freshman year of college where we went out to the driving range one day with Lucas, who is the third person and the actual golfer in the group. We were all baseball players, but Lucas was actually a good golfer. So we were at the driving range hitting balls, and then we just decided to see if we could do some sort of trick shot. And it started with Dalton chipping the ball forward to Lucas and Lucas swinging with the driver and hitting it. And that's pretty much what started our golf trick shot career. After mulling it over and talking about it, we came up with the name Holy Golf Shots. It was H-O-L-E-E-E to represent us three. That was kind of the inside joke, I suppose you could say. But we started as Holy Golf Shots, and we made all sorts of different trick shots just with golf solely. And it was a lot of fun, and it was kind of like the Dude Perfect type style videos. And it was just a way to keep us busy, and it was something that we really enjoyed. Dalton ended up going to University of Central Florida up in Orlando, and we were still down in South Florida, so it became increasingly harder to get together and do these trick shots, because some days you could get them on the first try, and then others you could spend all day on one trick and still come up with nothing. But we still did it throughout his time at UCF, and it was still a lot of fun, and it was a reason for us to get together and to stay together and stay close as friends. Even with the distance, we were still able to build a good following on social media and gain some traction and popularity. We even got a golf trick shot on Nickelodeon, which was pretty cool. And that was kind of like our peak, the top of the mountain for us, and everything after that was downhill. We realized that Holy Golf Shots was probably at the end of its life. We decided for one last-ditch effort to just expand to all sports. We were tapping out on golf and just opening up to all sports. And we called that Trick Shots U, and that lasted for maybe a month or two. After Holy Golf Shots and after a brief time with Trick Shots U, we stepped away from the Trick Shots game and went into a new endeavor. You guessed it, the hot sauce game. Because that's the most logical step to take after a pretty successful trick shots career. We made this move because we were really thinking that hot sauce is going to be our big break. This is a great place to start. We weren't starting from scratch because Dalton grew up in the restaurant business. His parents owned a restaurant, and he worked just about every job you could possibly imagine in the restaurant business. So because of that, because of his background, and because of his knowledge, we said, how hard can hot sauce making be? Well, hot sauce making, if you haven't done it before, is incredibly hard. I honestly thought going into it was get some peppers, bake them, mash them up, put some vinegar, salt, whatever, some water, whatever you do, shake it up, make some hot sauce. And to an extent, that's pretty much what you do, but it is such a science, and to all the hot sauce makers out there, much respect, because what you do is incredible, and if you can make a good tasting hot sauce, you've got it figured out. And we could not do that. But the birth of this hot sauce dream launched this idea of D&B. We started with D&B hot sauce because it sounded like TNT, and it was Dalton and Ben. So that's kind of where D&B was born in itself. So the hot sauce didn't last long at all. And for a brief time, and this is getting into the nitty-gritty, the minutia of our story, we decided to maybe make potato chips. Same idea, same concept. How hard could it be? I think that lasted for a half an hour. We went to the store, tried to cut the potatoes real thin, baked them, they were terrible. But it was this idea of going after the things that brought us joy and that was fun for us. That's always what we did, and as silly as it was always to make each other laugh and to have a good time with each other. So after Holy Golf Shots and after the brief run in the hot sauce business, we got into the video making game. we started making these funny, magic, quick cut videos because I was getting into videography and video editing in school. So every time we would get together, still Dalton was in Orlando and I was still in South Florida at the time. I started at Lynn, so I was in Boca, and we were about 3.5 hours apart. But when we would get together, you know, once a month, once every other month, we would make these funny videos, and we started this thing called D&B Videos. Again, running with a Dalton and Ben theme here. We made a ton of videos and began to grow a little bit. Our friends and even people outside of our immediate friend group were really enjoying the videos. And whether they were laughing with us or at us, they were laughing, and that was always fun for us. And so throughout all of the things that we've done, Holy Golf Shots, D&B Hot Sauce, D&B Videos, and every little thing in between, we always went after the things that brought us joy, but still, we didn't really stand for anything more than just fun, silly videos or fun, silly activities. And that didn't really sit well with us. We wanted to grow something. We didn't necessarily know what it was, but we wanted to be bigger than the things that we were doing. We wanted to stand for something. And so we were thinking of this idea, thinking of this concept, and we went back to what we always did, what we knew best, and that was going after the things that brought us joy. And it was that idea and that philosophy that we wanted to spread. So we rebranded from just Dalton and Ben to D&B, standing for Define New Boundaries. And that's what you see today with the clothing, the flag, the whole brand D&B. And it's a lifestyle brand that promotes the pursuit of what genuinely brings you joy. And when you do that and you live life going after the things that bring you joy, we call you a definer. And everyone can be a definer. And that's a really cool thing about our brand, is that it's so broad yet so focused, because it doesn't matter whether you're a pro athlete, a student, a teacher, a mom, a dad, a baker, a chef, a hot sauce maker. You can be literally anything you want in the world. And I know I just picked a few random jobs right there, but you can be anything you want. You can go after anything you want, as long as you're doing it because it makes you happy and brings you joy. And that's the whole idea behind the brand, and what we're trying to do is encourage people to do that. And one way we do that is by sharing all of these different definer stories. And that's one of the most exciting things for us, because we get to hear these different people's stories and hear how they define new boundaries in their own words. And it's different for every single person, and that is awesome. And that's exactly what we want the brand to be. We want Define New Boundaries to mean something personal to you. And that's really what we've always been after, is being able to help other people and encourage other people to do something that has always been so important to us. We always went after the things that made us happy and always did the things that brought us joy. And that's exactly the message that we want to spread. So who knows what's next with Define New Boundaries, but for right now, we're having an absolute blast. We're trying to grow as big and as wide as we can to help as many people as we can. So we hope you guys can come along on our journey, and be sure to connect with us on Instagram at DNB_prod, DNB_PROD. You can check out our website, get the cool definer gear. I'll leave the links in the description below, but that's at www.definenewboundaries.com. And again, the clothing is not the main idea. The clothing is just a reminder to live life defying new boundaries. That's the main idea. So that's pretty much the D&B story, how it came to be today, what it is today, and the whole evolution from starting at humble beginnings as a golf trick shot group and growing into this lifestyle clothing brand that you see today. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Keep living life defining new boundaries.